Now, when the budget was presented, it was 27.
Yeah, it was 27.
Yeah, trillion.
Yes.
And that time, recurrent expenditure was higher. And Nigerians were worrying why you should have a recurrent expenditure higher than capital expenditure. Meaning there was no problem. I mean, there was no plan, so as it were, to do something about infrastructural development.
Yes.
Because growth is made possible by capital investment.
Yes.
So if you don't invest, how do you run an economy that is predicated on consumption?
Yes.
And that's what recurrent would have amounted to. And people are talking about the fact that cost of governance has gone too much. So how do you see the budget generally?
Yes, I think the budget generally is a budget of economic stability.
Okay.
It's a budget of economic stability because the production of crude, I mean locally refined crude, will help our local consumption, and as well as allow for too much of expenses on the side of the citizens. Because right now, if you go to
it's going to put money in the pockets of Nigeria.
Yes, the pocket of Nigeria.
And it will encourage investment.
Yes.
Now let's look at the fact that the budget has been given a face of capital investment.
Yes.
Because one of the problems we have in Nigeria is infrastructural deficit. Have you seen the kind of roads we have in the country? I was watching a footage today, or was it yesterday? The road between Kogi and Ekiti State.
Yes.
You will not believe that that kind of road is in Nigeria.
It is.
And there are so many such examples across the country. So road infrastructure is one of the infrastructural deficits that have been counterproductive and has been something that has been affecting the economic development of the country, because an economy that is not on the wheel cannot survive.
No, it cannot.
Cannot survive. So the improvement of the budget by increasing the capital expenditure
yes,
is a plus, because it's going to address the infrastructural deficit.
yes.
You're talking about railway. I envy those who enter railway from Ibadan to go by train from Ibadan to Lagos, Kaduna to Abuja to Kaduna and all that. I saw them, they decreased the price by 50%. Right here in the southeast and south. Our railway doesn't seem to be working. And I can see there is an approach, an attempt to put some effort in revitalizing the Eastern Railway Corridor.
Yes.
The Eastern Railway Corridor is one that actually takes care of us.
Yes.
And the middle belt. That's southeast, south, and all that. So there's so much waiting for the budget to be expended upon. So if you run a budget where the cost of governance is all that there is, a minister comes with PA for PA, and assistant SA and all that, and the cost of governance is so much, and of course we have too many ministries.
Yes.
And the National Assembly, so much to be expended upon. Already the bicameral legislature is something that Nigerians are worried about.
Yes.
So the House, I think, did well by increasing the capital budget, right?
Yes, they did, because the capital budget is all about putting the infrastructures on ground.
Yeah.
And if this government, with the way the budget is being designed now, is that it's going to run in phases.
Yeah.
It's going to run in phases. And with what Tinubu has just told us, he would have ordinarily, looking at the budget, the broadcast this morning, you would agree with me that he has almost decided to increase the wage of workers.
Okay.
But the refinery is not working, and there are no sources of revenue for now.
And even
if he had gone ahead like the way he removed the subsidy, it would have affected the economy. That's why I had to come down a little just to give the promise I had first. Let the workers know that he have them in mind, and that preparations are being put in place to ensure that their salaries, there is wage increase.
Yes.
In the next 3 or 6 months, there will be wage increase.
There was something he said about the economy and Nigerians. He said that bad times does not last forever.
No.
And that is a a ride, as it were, to his
statement,
to his agenda, what they call renewed hope agenda.
Yes.
That bad times don't last forever. I see it as a rider to his mantra, renewed hope agenda. And that means that, like the World Bank said, all the economic measures put in place are like breaking the omelette before you can prepare the egg. If you don't break the omelette, if you don't break the egg, you cannot prepare the omelette. So let it be that there will really actually renewed hope, because he has already made the mistake.
Yes.
There's no need crying over spilled milk. He has announced the budget. He has put the cart before the horse, withdrawing fuel subsidy, and a lot is being done. The refineries, Dangote refinery is already on stream. But a lot of Nigerians have said, don't rely on Dangote refinery because he's a businessman.
Yeah.
Just as Nigerians were talking about cement, and Dangote cement did not improve the narrative.
Yes.
Now, another aspect of the budget that I like is putting the GDP as 3.88.
Yes, yes.
And 3.88 GDP is predicated on the fact that there will be the productive sector will be improved upon.
The manufacturing sector.
Agriculture, diversification of the economy.
Yeah,
for example, the extractive industry with respect to solid minerals will be put into proper perspective. Because with the monocultural economy we are running now, the GDP of 3.88 will be a far cry. Nobody will get there. And Nigerians are expecting that the GDP should go beyond. I know that the global prediction is about 3.7.
Yes, 3.7.
That's the global prediction for Nigeria, the GDP. But he has now gone beyond that and is giving it a much more. Well, the budget that has been signed into law is what you call the full circle budget, because it's starting from January. It was signed on the 30th. It was passed on 30th. And signed this morning to start this January.
Yes.
So it's going to be a full circle budget that will run from January to December. We're right back on track. There was a time it was not possible to have a full circle budget.
It was not.
And of course, what you have there as capital expenditure is predicated on borrowing. President Buhari is going to borrow a lot of money, and he has already been given a nod for that borrowing to fund the capital expenditure.
Yes, yes.
And we hope that it's not just enough. Every country borrows. It's not just enough to borrow, but it's another thing to borrow and use it wisely. Every country borrows. Everybody borrows.
Yes, of course.
But the problem is borrowing to eat. That's why I'm happy that the recurrent expenditure is not tied to any borrowing. It's only the capital expenditure.
Yes, yes.
It's not tied to borrowing. It's tied to revenue generation.
Revenue generation.
It's tied to that. And let's hope that the value of the naira will stabilize. And once it stabilizes, and then forex also, the forex market will stabilize to help the economy grow, because investors are crying.
Yes.
But the forex policy, as it is today, doesn't seem to favor them. And that's why we've been talking about reforms in the central bank.